You understand English when others speak. You understand videos, movies, even conversations. But the moment it's your turn to speak, your mind goes blank. You start a sentence, then stop. Words don't come out, and suddenly you feel like you don't know English at all. This is one of the most frustrating feelings. But here's the truth. You don't have a knowledge problem. You have a speaking problem. And once you understand this, you can fix it much faster than you think. Most people believe that if they understand English, they should automatically be able to speak it. But understanding and speaking are two completely different skills. One is passive, the other is active. And if you don't train your brain for active use, you will always struggle when it's time to speak. In this video, you'll learn why this happens and how to turn your understanding into confident speaking. These are simple shifts, but they will completely change how you use English. You have passive knowledge, not active skill. The biggest reason you understand English but can't speak it is because your knowledge is passive. This means you can recognize words, sentences, and meanings when you hear them, but you are not used to creating sentences on your own. Your brain is trained to receive English, not produce it. And speaking requires production, not recognition. Think of it like this. Watching someone play a sport and actually playing it yourself are very different things. You may understand all the rules, you may even predict what will happen next, but when you step onto the field, your body doesn't respond the same way. Speaking English works in a similar way. You understand everything, but your brain is not trained to respond quickly. This happens because most people spend their time listening, reading, or watching content in English, but they rarely practice speaking. So, their input becomes strong, but their output remains weak. And when it's time to speak, the brain struggles because it has not built that habit yet. This is why you feel stuck, even though you know a lot. To fix this, you need to start training your brain for output. Start speaking daily, even if it's just for a few minutes. Talk to yourself in English, answer simple questions, or describe your day. Don't wait for perfect sentences. Focus on expressing your thoughts. The more you practice output, the stronger this skill becomes. At first, it may feel slow or uncomfortable, but that is part of the process. Your brain is learning a new way to use English. And once you shift from passive understanding to active speaking, you will notice that words start coming to you faster. Your confidence will improve, and that blank moment you feel while speaking will slowly disappear. Your brain is not trained to respond instantly. Another major reason you understand English but can't speak it is because your brain is not trained for quick responses. When you listen, you get time to process. You hear the sentence, you understand it, and everything feels easy. But speaking is different. It requires instant reaction. And if your brain is not trained for that speed, it freezes. This is exactly why you feel blank when it's your turn to speak. Your brain starts searching for words, checking grammar, and trying to build a perfect sentence at the same time. This overload slows everything down. Even if you know the answer, you can't say it quickly. And that delay creates hesitation and self-doubt. To fix this, you need to train your brain to respond faster, not perfectly. Start with simple, quick responses. Ask yourself easy questions like, "What am I doing?" or "What did I eat today?" and answer immediately in English. Don't give yourself time to think. The goal is to build speed and natural response. Another effective method is to use short, Ready-made sentence starters like, I think, I feel, or, in my opinion. These help you begin speaking instantly without waiting. Once you start, your brain finds it easier to continue. This removes that initial block that causes hesitation. The more you practice instant responses, the more your brain adapts. You stop freezing, you stop overthinking, and your speaking becomes more natural. Because fluency is not about knowing more. It's about responding faster with what you already know. You are afraid of making mistakes while speaking. Another big reason you understand English but can't speak it is fear. Not lack of knowledge, but fear of making mistakes. The moment you start speaking, your mind becomes alert. You start thinking, what if I say something wrong? What if people judge me? And this fear stops you before you even begin. This fear creates pressure in your mind. Instead of focusing on your message, you focus on avoiding mistakes. You try to choose the perfect words, the perfect grammar, and the perfect sentence. And because of that pressure, your brain slows down. You hesitate, you pause, and sometimes you don't speak at all. But here's the reality. Mistakes are a normal part of speaking any language. Even fluent speakers make small mistakes, but they don't stop because of them. They continue speaking, and that's why they sound confident. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being comfortable with imperfection. To overcome this, you need to change your mindset. Instead of thinking, I must speak correctly, start thinking, I must express my idea. Your goal is communication, not perfection. Even if your sentence is simple or slightly incorrect, it still works if the other person understands you. A simple way to practice this is to allow yourself to speak freely without correcting every small mistake. Let your sentence flow. Don't stop in the middle to fix it. Over time, your accuracy will improve naturally, but your fluency will improve much faster when you stop fearing mistakes. Once you remove this fear, speaking becomes easier. Your mind relaxes, your words come out faster, and that hesitation starts fading away. Because in the end, the biggest barrier is not English, it's the fear you attach to it. You practice English but not speaking. One of the biggest reasons you understand English but still can't speak it is because your practice is not focused on speaking. You watch videos, you read content, you listen carefully, and all of that helps you understand better. But speaking is a different skill. And if you don't practice speaking directly, it will not improve. This is where most people go wrong. They think that more input will automatically improve their speaking. But input and output are separate skills. You can become very good at understanding English, but still struggle to speak if you don't train your mouth and brain together. Speaking requires action, not just observation. To fix this, you need to include active speaking in your daily routine. Even 5 to 10 minutes of speaking practice every day can create a big difference. Talk to yourself in English, describe your day, explain your thoughts, or even repeat what you learned in your own words. The goal is to make speaking a habit, not an occasional activity. Another powerful method is to speak out loud instead of only thinking. Many people think in English but don't actually say it. This doesn't train your speaking ability fully. When you speak out loud, your brain, mouth, and confidence start working together. This is what builds real fluency. You can also try a simple technique called repeat and expand. Listen to a short sentence like, I went to the market. Then say it out loud and expand it by adding more details like, I went to the market in the evening to buy some fruits. This trains your brain to build sentences naturally and continue speaking without stopping. If possible, try to simulate real conversations. Ask yourself questions and answer them out loud. Or imagine you are explaining something to a friend. This makes your practice more practical and prepares you for real-life situations. The more realistic your practice is, the faster your speaking improves. At first, it may feel uncomfortable or even awkward, but that is completely normal. You are training a skill that you have avoided for a long time. But if you stay consistent, you will notice that speaking becomes easier, faster, and more natural. And slowly, that gap between understanding and speaking will start closing. At the end of the day, the problem is not that you don't know English. The problem is that you haven't trained yourself to use it actively. You understand, you recognize, you follow along. But speaking requires a different kind of practice. And once you start focusing on that, everything begins to change. You don't need to learn more and more. You need to start using what you already know. Speak daily, respond faster, stop fearing mistakes, and focus on expression instead of perfection. Fluency is not built by thinking more. It is built by speaking more. So, from today, don't just understand English. Start speaking it. Even if it feels slow, even if it's not perfect, just keep going. That's how confidence builds, and that's how real fluency starts. If this changed the way you see your English, consider hitting subscribe and staying connected for more. If you found this helpful, a like really supports the content and helps it reach more people. You can share this with someone who understands English but still struggles to speak naturally. Try writing one simple sentence in English in the comments, without translating, just your thoughts. If you want to keep improving step by step, turn on the bell icon so you do not miss what comes next. Thank you for watching and putting in the effort to improve.